Hello and welcome back to My Own Worst Enemy. It's time to start turn number 5 of the Battle of Pea Ridge. And we will do just that. Let's jump right on in. Grab the chit pull cup here. And the first chit out of the cup is the Independence. So that's up here. And when I moved these units into position, I said I was just going to leave them here. But maybe I won't do that. Let's see. 2 weak units, 3 weak units. These are by far our strongest units. I could try to move them forward. Oh, that guy's got a defense. He's got a defense rating of 8. And I was going to say I could move him forward and try to attack just him alone, but even that, the odds would be terrible in my favor, or in his favor, the Confederate favor. So I'm still, I don't know. I'm just going to leave him there. Do we have more reinforcements coming in? We do. Turn 6, and those are weak units too. I could still send an additional artillery unit towards Elkhorn Tavern. I don't know if that's a good idea though. I'm going to leave these guys in place. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to leave them there for now. Let them come to me. All right. Next chit then. Let's see what we get. We get, that is the 1st Division. The Union gets to go again. So that is down here. It's the same thing here. I don't want to move. I'm going to leave them right where they're at. They're going to defend. They're going to defend outside of Leetown, so we're going to leave them there. Let's pull another chit. It'll be a very fast turn, it seems like. It is McCullough's division, also down here. Really, I don't want to move them. I'm waiting for that combat chit to come up. I could move this unit that's back here. That's also a very weak unit. An attack strength 0, defense of 2. So I'm still going to leave him back there. All right, well, we're not going to move them. Let's see what comes out now. And hopefully for the Union, it's the Davis there. He can move up his reserves. But it's not. It's the Missouri State Guard. And that is up here. And it's really a question of, do we want to try to take out these units, or do we want to move down here and take out these units? Maybe try to grab Union HQ, because I don't know if these units are powerful enough to take back Elkhorn Tavern on their own. So I think I am going to move, let's see, this artillery can move 1, 2, 3, so he could certainly get up there. I'm going to do that. We'll bring the artillery forward, and we're going to bring this brigade down, and I'm going to not move anyone else. I'm going to leave the rest of the Missouri State Guard in place around the Elkhorn Tavern. All right. Well, let's see what comes out next. It is, well, that's another McCullough division, so that's no effect really. Next chit is, well, that's the Missouri State Guard. Well, we're guaranteed not to pull a repeat chit now. Let's see what we get. It is the 4th Division car. So that's up here. There's just 2 of those, artillery and a brigade. I could pull them back and just kind of give up on Elkhorn Tavern, but I'm not so sure that's a good idea. I can move out of the zone of control, can come back. I could consider repositioning. I'm not sure that's a good idea. I honestly think they're not in a bad spot where they are. I'm going to leave them there. I mean, it's either leave them there or come back, give up on Elkhorn Tavern, and just try to hold on to Union HQ now, but I don't know. We can't let Elkhorn Tavern go, I don't think. All right. Back to the chit pull cup, and we pull the Confederate combat phase marker. Well, lots of potential combat here. So let's go ahead and let's start up here. Let's start up in the east side per the map. Okay, so we'll start here. We have, let's see, that's 5 plus 3. That is 8 strength points, and the defense is 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's what I say, 8 to 3. It's going to be on the 2 to 1 column with a shift down. That'll bring them back down to the 1 to 1 column. So I think they are going to attack and not, well, let's see, what's his morale there? -1 and -1, and then we have a +1 on this brigade. So, all right, we're going to be on the 1 to 1 column. I'll bring the dice tower around so we can see it. And we will roll, see what we get here. Let's see, we're on the 1 to 1 column. We roll. The Confederates get 1. -1, because the morale is -1, is 0, so that is a nothing. The Union gets 4 plus 1, so it's a 5 with their morale. And on the Defenders combat result, that is a 1R, so that's a step loss with must retreat. So that means that the step loss will come off of the brigade, since that's who I chose. So that comes off, and then they're going to have to retreat a space, so they're both going to have to retreat. We'll bring them back up the trail. Oh, if I can grab both of them. Now they're going to have to pass a morale check, or they're going to have to retreat yet again. So this could be bad for the Confederacy. We'll start with the brigade, and he's at a -1 morale, so remember that a 1, 2, or 3 is a failure. And it's a 5 minus 1 is a 4, so the brigade passes its morale check, and that unit underneath also passes his morale check. So that is that, and I believe that the Union infantry could advance, but I'm not going to do that. So now let's go to here, the unit that's just outside of Elkhorn Tavern. Does he want to attack? Well, his attack strength is only a 1, and the defense here is 8, so horrible, horrible odds. And again, I think automatic retreat might be the thing to do here. So that is what he's going to do. So I'm just going to retreat him back this way, because he does not want to engage those forces there. All right, now let's go back to the overview map. All right, so that didn't work out too well for the Confederates. And so the other area is down here where we have potential combat. And let's go ahead and zoom in there. All right, so we will start up here. And the attack value here is 6 plus 5. I think that's a 5. So that would be 11 to 4 if we attack this stack to this stack. Down here, it's going to be, well, let's just start with let's start with this attack first. So it's 6 and 5. It's 11 with a defense. It's 11 to 4. Defense of 4. So that's 2 to 1, and being that this guy is in the woods, we'll bring it down to 1 to 1. Looking at morale, I think we're going to choose the 0 morale unit so that we don't take a -1 to whatever we roll. All right, so we are back on the 1-to-1 column. Let me go ahead and get the dice tower back in here if I can. Let's see, get the dice out first. All right, so on the 1-to-1 column, with a 0 plus 0 for the Confederates and a +1 for the Union. The Confederates rolled a 6, which on the 1-to-1 is a 1R result, and the Confederates rolled a 3 plus 1 is 4, which is also a 1R result. So both sides score 1R. And what that is, the two units who we picked the morale numbers for both lose a step. So that is this Union unit loses a step, and then this Confederate brigade loses a step. And now it must retreat. Let's see, push this back a little bit because I'm trying to figure out which way I want to retreat, which unit. So this is now at a 3-5. And this unit is at a 6-9 still. I'm going to retreat this one back to here. And let's go ahead and retreat him with him. And then now they've retreated, and since there was a step loss, they're going to have to conduct another morale check. So, well, not another morale check. I guess it would be a morale check. Start with the top one. He's at -1, but he passes because his -1 gets him to 4, which is a pass. And the one below him is morale was 0, I believe. Yeah. So the one below him rolls a 3. Well, that's a failure. He's going to have to retreat once more. We'll just pull him back one more. And that is that for the Confederates. And then let's see. And so a 1R, we've already flipped him right, so he's got to retreat. We will bring this unit back to here. And because he took a step loss, now he's got to pass a morale check. He gets a +1 though to the die roll. And that is a 1, so that is a failure. He's got to retreat yet again. Brings him back all the way back to there. All right. Yeah, we'll stay here because we still have this combat to resolve, right? So let's get this out of here. So now we are looking at, well, if I can read it, like I said, it's really hard for me to see these. That looks like a 5 and a 3, so that's 8. Defense here is 3 plus 2 is 5, so that is 8 to 5. It would be 1-to-1 again, but it is a wooded hex, so it would go down to 1-to-2. And taking a quick look at the combat odds chart, they would have to roll a 4, 5, or 6. Well, let's take the shot. Why not? And so as for morale ratings, this one is at 0 on top. The one underneath it is 0. And we have +1 for the artillery. Guess we'll use that for the Union. So let's see what happens on the 1-to-2 column again. The Confederates roll a 2. Morale 0, so it's still a 2. That's a miss. The Union rolls a 1, plus their 1 is a 2. So that is 2 on the combat odds ratio chart. That's actually a step loss for the Confederate unit on top here. So that's going to flip this unit. Not a mandatory retreat, though. It's just a step loss. However, because there's a step loss, Both units will not have to conduct a morale check. So starting with that top brigade, who is at 0 morale, so it's whatever he rolls plus 0, that's a 4, so he passes. The artillery under, or the, there was artillery underneath, right? The artillery underneath rolls a 3, which is a failure, so the artillery is going to have to retreat. We will retreat the artillery back to here. And, oops. That's going to end combat for the Confederates. So let's go back to the big map. All right, so things are looking a little bit better outside of Leetown for the Union, and not so good up here at Elkhorn Tavern and Union HQ. So let's keep going. Let's see what happens. There's still chits in the cup. We will pull one, and we get the Union combat marker. All right, well, there is only, let's see, one place where there's a potential for combat for the Union, and it's here. So this Confederate, he's already been reduced one step. He's got 5 for his defense. The Union has 3 plus 1, so it'd be 3 to 5. Would be on the 1 to 2 column. There would be a shift down to the 1 to 3 for the wooded hex. So they would have to roll a 4, 5, or 6 to hit. And the counterattack, the defender's combat, there'd be a pretty good chance of them inflicting some damage on the counterattack. So, question is, do we attack or do we do an automatic retreat and let them come to us again? I think, you know what we're going to do? We're going to risk the attack, because if we hit, we wind up eliminating that unit. So let's go ahead and go through with this. I won't zoom in. We'll just do it from high level view here. So again, it is 3 to 5. So that's going to put us on the 1 to 2 column with the shift down because of the wood. So we're on the 1 to 3. For both of those, and the morale is 0 for the Confederates and plus 1 for the Union. Let's roll the dice and see what we get. We get the Confederates, or the Union rolls a 2, plus 1 is a 3, so that is a complete miss. The Confederates rolled a 6. No modifications, just a 6. So a 6 on the 1 to 3. Oh my gosh, 3 3R, so that's 3. Oh, that was brutal. 3 steps, which means I'm going to choose to lose this. So it's 2 steps on the cavalry, so that's 2 steps, and then the 3rd step will be this artillery unit. So that brings the artillery unit down to its reduced side. And then there's the mandatory retreat. And because he lost a step, or 3 to be exact, he's got to do a morale check. So morale check, looking for a 4, 5, or 6, but he gets a plus 1. That's not enough, so he's going to have to retreat. We're just going to retreat him on into Leetown. Well, so that was probably not a smart thing to do for the Union. Yeah, you were not really rewarded for attacking in this game, so that hurt. And that is it for all Union combat. Yep, nobody else is in the zone of control, so we got one more chit in the cup, and I'm sure we've already pulled it. No, actually we haven't. It's Davis. I thought that was a Missouri Guard, but it's not. It's Davis. That's the reinforcements that came in, which we now really, really need. So this artillery can move. It's kind of, the trail is kind of weird here. It goes down and over, I think. It does. So this artillery can go 1, 2, 3. That'll get them to here. The brigades can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So they can go anywhere in here. And I am going to bring one of these brigades up to here. The other up to Leetown. To try to get some defense going down there. Maybe we'll move them out. I don't know. That remains to be seen. So that looks like that is going to do it for turn number 5. So wow, interesting turn. Fast turn though. So let's go ahead and we will now move the game turn marker up to turn 6, which is 2 p.m. Getting late. That means that the 2nd division marker will now go into the Chit Cup, and these 2 units will now come on the board at 6D. Yep, they're both going to go to 6D, so the artillery will place both of those outside of map location D, so they'll come in, and then all of the chits will be placed back into the cup with the addition of the that new division that just came in. And yep, that is it. So when we come back, we will go through turn 6 and see what happens.